stock Ford F250 straight off the showroom floor. We're gonna make it 22 inches, the bag's completely full. Get a ton of pipe and start rolling and chopping it up. The tube work is gonna be right at eye level. You know, it looks like a sculpture after it's done.
Oh, that was 28!
Yeah! This 2016 Escalade is super luxurious, and we're gonna add tons more power to this.
It's gonna leave every other Escalade in the dust.
Oh, my God.
I'm Bill Carlton. I built my first truck when I was 16. And ever since, me and my guys have been out here creating with our hands. Building the biggest, lowest, baddest custom trucks and cars in the game. People don't come here for what they need. They come here for what they want. This is Texas Metal.
This shop is built on the diversity of the custom cars we work on. That's what keeps us on our toes. That's what keeps it fun and exciting. It's nice to come to work every day. What are you doing, man?
I'm talking for
Construction company, and says driving around in a big old custom truck is great advertisement for his business. How you doing, Tom?
How you doing, man? Good to see you. It's been a long time. It's been a minute. It has.
Love your entrance, man.
Bill's a really good friend of mine. We grew up together on the north side of Houston. He's the guy to go to if you want something done custom.
What are we doing?
Trying to get this thing lifted up. It's got to be real high, though. I need to be in the clouds.
This is a stock Ford F250 straight off the showroom floor. This one has a 6.7-liter turbo diesel with 925 foot-pounds of torque.
When people first see this truck, I want them to be completely blown away at how did we do that.
So huge wheels, huge lift, 4-link with the big bags.
Definitely.
Color match the suspension.
Yeah, man.
There are a lot of aftermarket lift kits available for the F-Series truck. Man, we're gonna make this one different. I mean, we're gonna make it adjustable, classy. This is gonna be the coolest truck around.
I need it to be down when I'm in town and up when I'm off-road.
So just go all out on it.
Go all out.
Like custom bumpers.
Custom bumpers. Got to be color matched.
Putting lights in it.
I like the lights inside the wheel wells. Don't go crazy with it because it's easy to go crazy with them. It's got to be something that you've never done before. It's got to be something that nobody's ever seen.
Nice. So the inside, I know you want the crazy stereo. It's a little dark in here, so we need to brighten it up.
Interior is so important. That's where I spend all of my time. I need this build to be something special, not only in the city and on the streets, but more importantly, in the mud park.
Tom, you know we're going to take care of you on this.
I know
man.
you are.
Let's go do some paperwork. Man, I love the challenge of making a custom lift. The key for me is building it high enough so people will take notice. When people are looking eye level at this lift, it'd be like looking at a sculpture, while keeping the off-road performance. That way you can go out and still get a little crazy.
So what's this?
We got the new 250 four-wheel drive.
And platinum.
So we want to take it a few steps up. Outside the airbags and shocks, we're going to hand make everything else. We're going to start with the frame down air suspension with 14-inch lift all the way down and 22 inches with the bags completely full.
Air suspension.
We're talking fender well up here.
Hey, I can walk under it?
Tim can walk under it.
So 6-inch lift.
Tim can walk under it?
We'll color match some parts with a pearl white. We'll chrome the rest of the part. And 28-inch billet wheels with a 42-inch tire so it can ride even higher.
28 by 42?
It's a custom one-off wheel created just for this truck.
So what about the inside?
We'll just cut the bottom half of the door panels off. We'll put speakers in the door panels and build a see-through console, which extends all the way to the back seat, with 3 big woofers that are lit with LED lights.
What about back here? Anything in the bed?
Tom wants his truck lifted and loud, so we'll put 4 8-inch full-range marine-grade speakers in the bed. Just something looks super classy, but just is super loud.
Gotcha. Bumpers?
We're also modifying the exterior of this truck with a custom set of bumpers for the front and the rear.
Just big, big, big on this.
Exactly. And the sooner we get it done, the sooner we can take it to the off-road park and go check it out.
Oh, let's get it done immediately.
Today.
What we got, brother?
Tear all the interior out of this.
Awesome.
While the F250 is still on the ground, now's a good time for Heath and Tim to tear out the interior.
These things are tight. On the old classic cars, everything's metal, bunch of Phillips screws. New cars, I prefer to use just a regular hand ratchet. Takes.
There's right there. There she goes.
Now we got her off. Are you trying to get the console out right now?
Gone.
I'm just glad we're doing all this before it's 4 feet up in the air and my big ass can't get in here no more.
We're gonna build a whole new air suspension for this truck. We have to get rid of everything stock, from the wheels, the springs, the shocks, the mounts, anything to do with stock. We're gonna make a clean slate on this frame so we can start from scratch.
Jamie's a real wild man. He just comes together, gets it done, gets ready to go on the next one.
There's so much stuff in the way. Got to be really delicate about cutting this piece out.
There's a brace behind that proportioning valve, and I'm gonna score it right here and break the weld.
Is it hood time?
It's hood time. We're gonna need to clean the frame rails to weld our suspension to. So John is burning off all the stock suspension brackets. Once John's done, I'll follow him with a grinder. I'll grind all this down smooth so we're ready for the new brackets.
Now that we tore out all the stock spring suspension, we're gonna measure for all the parts we need for the lifted air suspension. This truck is basically riding on air, which is a way smoother ride than springs. It's a super technical build, and we gotta be right on the money. That's 21 inches between the center of the axle to the ground. So we had it right on the money. Tall
This thing's gonna look crazy with the 42s, the 28s.
Gonna have the first set in the world. So
I'm
I can't
excited
wait.
about this.
47. You got 47?
All right, you got y'all's pieces.
Rudy's fabricated the axle mounts for the 4-link. That gives us a solid place to mount the suspension to the axle. Perfect, man.
That'll work.
Yeah, 5/8.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna install it all on the rear end. Super critical to get all this right so the drive line stays right. You don't have any vibration going down the road, so it's key to get this on the money. A little bit more back. That'll work. Right now, I'm designing the drop-down bracket, keep the 4-link more in line. And man, you're gonna need a ladder to get in this truck. We'll tape our poster board to the frame and kind of figure out where the pivot point's gonna be. It's too bad we don't have some laser scanner and I don't use AutoCAD, I just use pen and paper.
We just do it the old-fashioned way.
The advantage of that is I see the end result in real time. We're trying to figure our pivot points out on the frame itself, so everything's gonna articulate on the rear end and the frame. I think we're good with the pivot point here, so we're pretty much set up. We can give this to Rudy, start burning some plate, start building this thing. Check it out, Rudy.
See what you got.
We already got the pivot points, front and back. Now it's up to you to make me one whole plate here that bolts onto the whole side of the truck. I want it to hold the back part of the 4-link, the front part of the 4-link, and just some nice style to it here.
You want these holes punched out?
3/4.
Got some big old Heims going on there. Huh?
That's right.
So I got my template that Bill gave me. We're gonna go draw it up on the computer. So this is pretty much the backbone of the truck. This is what's gonna hold the whole truck up together when it's whipping around in mud, jumping, or whatever he wants to do with it. Gotta make sure it's nice and perfect and nice and strong too.
Rudy's burning out the drop-down brackets on Tom's F250 right now. Man, this thing allows us to get higher, and it adds a ton of strength and rigidity.
All right, so we got our piece for the F250 cut out. All we gotta do now is just punch our holes for the 4 links. You need to punch them and not cut them out because we want some real clean holes.
Hell yeah, Rudy. Look good, man.
Now we're gonna test fit the bracket.
This bracket will basically drop down the frame rail. That way we can extend the lift even higher.
Is it tightening that gap up, Lulu?
It's going.
All right. You know, I love being out in the shop. I love getting dirty, welding, grinding. I can't stand being in the office, answering the phones, doing paperwork. I hate it. I love being out with the guys. That's my passion. That's what I'm gonna do till I die.
Man, everything's proportioned perfect, man. I love it. And this will be powder coated, really gonna bring some color down in the frame. It's just really, really gonna look good. And it's
Lindsay is an old friend. We've customized a few trucks for him in the past, and let's just say he's enthusiastic.
What up, dog?
What's happening, man?
Hell yeah. Good seeing you, man. Yeah. Looking all slim and trim. When I first met Bill, he had an S10 pickup, and he had welded like this triangle thing on the door with a tire so he could turn sharp and drive through the neighborhood sideways. That's when I first met Bill. What you got? That's that 16 Escalade, man.
This 2016 Escalade is a 6.2-liter V8 and 420 horsepower. It's large and luxurious, but at this point, it's just equipped for getting the kids to soccer.
I got the bells, the whistles, the distles, the tristles, I got it all. I mean, it has anything and everything an ordinary person want, but if you have Bill in your life, you're not ordinary. You know, I can't look like every other soccer mom. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I gotta make it look just nasty.
First thing we gotta do is put a supercharger on it. Give him about 100 or so extra horsepower to the rear wheels. I know you want that.
Because this already has a lot of power, but like, it's gonna be over the top power. Redonkulous power. I'm pumped.
We gotta lower this thing.
Ooh, okay. So when we lower it to the ground, it's easy for me to...
Wheels, new tires. We gotta put the billet 26s on it.
What else? What else?
You know,
Come
probably
on.
a little contrast on the trim.
Okay.
You know, something that totally sets you apart.
See, that's what's wrong. That's why I'm addicted to the extension. I gotta have me some Bill love.
Man, the grill, we gotta have you a custom
Watch
grill
out.
in it. Well, that's the first thing you see when it's coming at you.
Once Bill puts his hands on it, it's gonna be fly. I'm gonna love it. I'm gonna ride, and everybody can see me extensified. Yeah, let's do it, dog. Come on.
Man. You need to drive the van?
Yeah, I'll drive the van. Temporary.
You know, these trucks are already over the top. They're super luxurious. The 6.2 in this is plenty of horsepower. But man, we're gonna set this apart, bring it to the next level, and add tons more power to this. When you see Lindsay coming down the road in this is just gonna be over the top, just like Lindsay.
Well, well, well. Is this whose I think it is?
Oh, Lindsay, he wants us to hook him up. My plan is to add to the Cadillac's luxury with a little more presence and muscle. We'll start by adding a supercharger to the engine, and that should add around 100 horsepower.
Is he wanting like diamond encrusted bezels for the headlights and around the
Man,
grill?
he probably like that, but we ain't doing that.
Yeah.
To make this truck one of one, we're gonna take all the eyes black. And we'll add a new grill and paint that too.
Anodized black wheels?
Everything.
Everything.
You gotta really have a nice contrast, you know,
Yeah.
no crazy red or blue or something like that on it.
Keep it classy.
Just classy and still stand out. You know, he wants to be able to drop his kids off and still take this out to the club. We'll fill the fender wells with custom 26-inch billet wheels. And it'd be like no other Escalade around. Let's just say Lindsay is really passionate about getting this car done. He's super excited.
Man, he's super excited when he just walks in the office.
Good luck, buddy.
I'm on it.
We've never installed a supercharger on this model of Escalade before, so I asked Justin to take the lead on this one.
So what's the game plan for this one?
Man, this dude's over the top. He wants something he can get in and just smoke the tires off this thing.
Thinking
So,
the supercharger?
yeah, but he's got to have something next level. I know how you get down with that tube work.
Okay.
So I want you to build him a custom air intake, man. So when he pops the hood, he can see that we handmade him something just for him.
You got it.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Well, let's knock it out.
We're going to start removing some of the factory components out of the way. The type of supercharger it is, it's a centrifugal is what they call it. It increases the output speed of this impeller somewhere in the creates boost. So when I'm done putting this thing on here, it's going to leave every other Escalade in the dust. Right now, we gotta remove this bracket right here that holds the computer. This is pretty much the brain of the vehicle, so we need to be super careful with it when we move this thing around and get it in its new location. All right, should slide right out now. Shouldn't have said it's gonna slide right out. Should have said it's gonna fight me, and then it probably would have came right out. Let me see what else I need to move out the way to get this thing. We're about to have to pick this thing up and get that cover off so that we can get to that one last bolt.
Fitting an aftermarket supercharger in a stock truck like Lindsay's 2016 Escalade is always tricky, especially in such tight quarters. So it's not surprising Justin's having trouble moving the computer to make room for that supercharger.
This little panel right here serves no other purpose other than keeping rocks and stuff from hitting the computer. All right, now that we got this last bolt out the way, you can see that our computer will be ready for our new bracket to relocate it. And there it is to increase the airflow going to your engine. Your engine is basically an air pump, so the more air you can get in, the more air you can get out, the more horsepower you can make. So we're gonna go ahead and put our belt on for our new blower setup. So what this is doing is putting more tension on this belt. It keeps it from slipping on the supercharger at high RPMs. So if you went to a smaller pulley, you can really crank out some horsepower on this thing. Right now, we're about to install our intercooler. It takes the hot air from the supercharger and cools it down before it goes in the engine. We can connect the two with our rubber couplers and hard piping. All we gotta do is snake it through and make our connection. So this 4-inch pipe will support a lot of airflow, which in return means it'll support a lot of horsepower. All installed, just like that.
We're making a huge custom lift for Tom's F250, including this drop-down bracket we're installing right now.
Well, let's get the holes in this thing. We'll put 5 holes down the side, and then we can through bolt them. Cut another piece for the back part of it to box it in. We can weld. It's never gonna come off, man. It's one of the strongest parts of the whole truck.
We're now mocking up the 4-link bars. There are 2 bars on each side, the bushing on one side and a heim on the other for adjustment. This connects the rear end to the frame.
So I'm about to lay out a jig so I can make the 4-link bars for the F250. So I got one of the 4-link bar ends, and I'm gonna tack it to this straight piece of C-channel, make it all squared. So when I put the other end and I weld the bar in between, the bushing ends are actually squared off with the 4-link bar. Now I got the jig all made. I go cut some DOM tubing to weld between the bushing and the heim joint. Now I got the piece of DOM in, fit nice and snug, straight. I can tack it. Then I'll remove it, put another one in, and just keep repeating the process. Once they're all done, tacked up, then I'll weld them all out all together in one shot.
The drop down is looking good. Next step, just putting the 4-link on.
4-link connects the rear axle to the frame and keeps it centered with your wheel well as it lifts up and down. We don't want this truck driving down the road sideways, so we're gonna make these 4 links equal length.
Oh, that looks good.
Hell yeah. We get started with the front 4-link bars now, huh?
Yeah, man, let's knock them out. Get them put on. We'll start building them bag mounts.
Hell yeah.
It's gonna take a lot of compressed air to lift this 3-ton truck up to 22 inches. So John and Tim are mocking up the air compression system.
John's designed a pretty cool little air setup here where the tanks are gonna mount, and then the bars are gonna hold the compressors. So we have 2 5-gallon tanks, and we're gonna put 4 compressors across it to fill the tanks. Then we'll run lines to the valves, to the airbags. We're gonna cut some flat bar to bolt the 2 air tanks together to keep the system compact. So we made these pieces of flat bar to keep everything symmetrical, to keep everything even. And it's also gonna work as mounts for the valves. With the tanks mocked up, we're gonna tack the DOM tubing on the sides to keep it symmetrical. That's good. This will give us a layout for the 4 new air compressors. That looks good. Now that the DOM is symmetrical, we'll evenly space out the compressors.
Pretty good, huh?
Pretty good job. The bars, the way they are, it all fans out. It's all symmetrical. This is powder coated. We can take this, flip it over, put these 4 bolts into it, and everything's a done unit.
While we're finishing up on the air suspension on this truck, Heath has his hands full making the center console on this F250.
This is our shape of our console. This is gonna go up into the dash right here, have a subwoofer here, 2 more subwoofers going back down in that direction, and then we have plexiglass sides, lit all up, all white. It's gonna be really cool. We'll get this nailed down, and then we'll router it out, and then we're gonna make our other pieces that go on the inside. We're actually doing a process, it's called stacking, and what it is we're gonna stack a bunch of these to get this shape. I've made all my stack pieces, see, all the way up just to get this shape all the way around. So it gives a cool little design. Whenever you do this stack method, you waste a lot of material. We've got a bunch down there that's just scrapped out, but should be real strong. This box is definitely a one-off. There'll be some people who try to probably replicate it, but they're not gonna be able to do the exact same thing we did here until Gerardo gets it all primed and painted out.
The cool thing about this console is that it's gonna have a plexiglass side, so that it's gonna be see-through. We're gonna paint the inside of it pearl white to color match to the F250. So we're gonna go ahead and throw down the base, which is like an off-white, and then we're gonna throw the pearl, and after that we throw in the clear coat.
We're most of the way through the air suspension on Tom's lifted F250. Because the truck is so high, the tube work that is normally hidden under the truck is going to be right at eye level. What I want to do with this is just have arching tube work all throughout, man.
Hell yeah.
Even the bag mounts have, rolled tubing. Just looks like it's reaching up and grabbing that thing and just coming down and holding it to the rear end.
I got 2 hands holding that bag.
Hell yeah. We'll get a ton of pipe and start rolling and chopping it up.
We're gonna bend, cut, and shape the tubing for the bottom support for the airbags. By the time we're done, we're probably gonna use over 100 feet of tubing.
Such an angel. I need a big halo.
Everybody know you got the devil in you.
Hey, we have a good idea for the design of the top of these airbag mounts. We made a piece on the back that's drilled and tapped. We're gonna weld the back piece to the frame. And we're gonna bend some more DOM to come down as the bag mounts. What that's gonna do is make it structurally strong and just give it a cool look that everything's rolled and it flows together.
Beautiful.
John, you a bad mofo.
I know.
Once John welds all this DOM piping in place, we're gonna check these 4 links with the bag mounts. All right, we got our spacer out of the way. Let it down a little bit, John. This will articulate how the 4 links gonna keep it all squared. As the bag raises, the rear end will go down like this. And then when you let the pressure out of the bag, this will show the rear end in full motion, articulating all the way through. And that's how this finished air suspension system is gonna raise this truck up about 10 inches. There's another thing to this build. We went really aggressive with the bars, the way everything's bent, so we couldn't do no standard shock. We went and got the 4.0 shocks, the piggyback tubes, everything's all in one unit. These shocks are made to go through the desert, through the Bajas, through the jumping. Any way he wants to drive, the suspension, the shocks, the bags, 100% he will have no problems. We're gonna tear it apart and get it color matched. We'll break it all down, send it out to powder coat, and then we'll reassemble it later.
With the supercharger installed on Lindsay's 2016 Escalade, I'm gonna have Charlie start working on the trim. I wanna pull off all the chrome. I wanna paint it like an anodized look.
We're doing all the trim black anodized.
Yeah, the factory trim with the wheels, the grill, every piece of the chrome.
All right, cool, I got you. Let's get to it.
Probably he's gonna start out by spraying these parts black, then he's gonna spray a chrome, then the last coat is gonna be a transparent black right over the top, gives it a transparent anodized look.
This is the black base for the mirror chrome. Get us some good coats on there before we start spraying the chrome on there. And then from there, then you do your candy concentrate in your clear, and then you just clear it until you get the desired color you're looking for.
I got everybody available working on this Escalade. We're trying to get the trim, the wheels, and that grill on. Waits for delivery, so I told him to come on, swing by the shop. And I can't wait to see this reaction. Whatever it might be, I can't wait to see it.
Man, my man Bill. Ooh, Bill. Now, you don't even give 100. My dude. Woo.
Drop me. I guess
Man.
you like it.
That's Mac Daddy nasty.
First things first, you see you come down the road, you see the grill. We couldn't have you riding around with that stock grill in there. Everybody's got that, man. Little matte black mesh, man, with the little anodized insert. Man, it just really sets the whole tone of the whole thing.
It's like a whole different truck, man.
Man, it is. Just like the grill, we took off all the chrome to give it that anodized black look, man.
That changed the whole look.
It does. 26-inch billet wheels.
Yeah.
These are one-off wheels cut especially for you. There's nobody else that has these. No one.
Bill put the lens cut on it, and he anodized them to match the anodized chrome. Oh, Lord, it was nasty.
Got a 4-inch drop on it, man.
Make it easy for me to get in. I appreciate it.
Check it out under the hood here.
I'm done with you, man. I'm done with you, Bill. Oh, man.
This thing hauls. Supercharger under the hood. It'll leave 2 black marks down the street. It's all intercooled, so it just sucks the cold air in.
Yeah.
Forces it right in the motor.
Extensive. They put their stamp on it, man. He really did an outstanding, spectacular job, man. I'm excited. We need to check it out. Well, let's do it.
Let's go.
Man, are you kidding me? I'm talking about.
Hold your thing. Pulls.
Are you kidding me right now? It didn't stop. Still rides really good. Like right now, I mean, from the grills to the wheels, and then top it off with the big power under the hood. I might just drive it, just to drive for no reason. I won't have nowhere to go, but just start driving. I might drive in a circle, just to drive it. Your guys are just priceless, man, and I'm super proud.
Every one of us bust our ass.
That's what it's about,
man.
That's what it's about.
Making a team, creating the goal, and making it to the goal, man, and that's what we do.
The lift is all built for Tom's F250. Now I'm fabricating the bar for these marine speakers that are going to go in the bed. Whole thing into the truck bed. Let's see how it looks.
What we're trying to do is put the speakers in the bed without making any more holes. So what we're done is using the bed bolts here to bolt this down. We mount them in the corner here, which is the factory lift hooks. And when this goes together, it's gonna lock and make a really solid mount for these speakers to sit on.
We're going to remove the whole thing as one piece. Once it's welded up, we're sending this and all the suspension parts we made to get powder coated.
Check that out, man. We had 28-inch wheels custom made for Tom's F250. We finished making the suspension lift. These are some of the last things needed for the build. Jewelry for the truck.
That is bad.
It is bad. 28 by 16 with the 42-inch tire. He's gonna freak out.
That massive polished wheel is gonna bring it all together as a finished product.
Yeah.
Our tire machine here at the shop does great for everything up to a 26-inch wheel. Elu and I are gonna do it the old-fashioned way. We're gonna put it on the ground, use some pry bars. Just really, really soap it real good, and it should slide. Now we're just gonna take these pry bars, we're gonna work our way around. Now we have the wheel over it. All we're gonna do is put air in it, air it up.
That's old-fashioned tire mounting 101. Done.
We're making custom door panels for Tom's truck. We're gonna keep the top half factory. We're gonna make new lower portions. Once I'm done, it's gonna be seamless. You won't be able to tell where mine ends and theirs begins. And be real careful not to glue your fingers to everything, because it happens. Now, we'll just continue that all the way around. Now that I've got the shape I want, I'm gonna go ahead and glass it up to give it extra strength. That's it. Then I'm gonna go ahead and smooth it out and get it ready to wrap. Now that that's dry, I'm gonna go ahead and spray on the contact cement. Ain't no stopping now. Next, I'm gonna wrap all the pieces so it matches the top part of the door. Now we have our base of our panel wrapped. Now, we're gonna use a double stick on here. I'm gonna start routing it out right now. We wanna match the pro white of the truck, so we're gonna highlight the door panels with some white acrylic. We cut out our acrylic. You can kind of see how it's gonna fit in here. Lines up with the speakers, and then it leaves us our gap for our lighting that's gonna go around the side and light this puppy up. Look good.
We've broken down the lift and suspension on Tom's F250. Now it's off to powder. You know, Tom's the type of guy that's not gonna cut this truck any slack. That's why we chose powder over paint. It's a way more durable finish.
So we've been powder coating stuff for Extensive for a long time. We actually prep the parts by blasting them. We then hang them up, magnetize the parts so that the actual powder will adhere to the actual metal. Holds up with rocks, it holds up with water, it holds up with salt. It's a lot more durable. Now everything's been powder coated. We're getting ready to put it back in the oven at about 400 degrees for about 20 minutes once the metal temperature reaches the 400. And then once that's done, we'll take them out.
All right, we got the console for the F250 back from paint. We got some cool lights installed. Now we're gonna load up the subwoofer. Ready? All I got left now is I gotta put the lights up top, do the wiring for the subwoofers. Then we're gonna put the plexiglass on the side, finish this console out. In Texas, we love our guns. We got caulking guns. Go ahead and seal this up. All right, ready? Be very careful because we can't move it. Got it? Here we go. There she is. Isn't that pretty? And you can see once we get this cut out of our white acrylic, it's gonna go in here and cover up all this nastiness. And then all you can see is the prettiness.
We have a new custom pearl white.
This system here, you can actually go in and look up the colors by vehicle if you don't actually have the paint code. And then it tells you the grams of each toner that you're gonna put in there. In this case, we're gonna need 259 grams of this super white. It's just a little bit. And this one just takes a little touch. As you can see, there's a lot of different colors that go into something as simple as just white. That's perfect match that we need to get the color we need to put on these parts so we can get them painted and we can get them back on the truck.
You know, in my life, I push everything to the limit. I strive every day to build every project bigger, better, badder. You know, even something as small as a trike that we work on, after we design and build them, we got to test it out. You know, we work hard, we play hard, we're at our best when we do both. That's just another fun part of the business. I mean, we have a great time and totally blessed with what we do. It's cool to blow off some steam and just get out and do some donuts and crap. You know, this type of stress relief isn't for everybody, but it works really well for me. Then we dust ourselves off, get right back to work. All the parts and pieces for Tom's F250 are back from chrome, powder, and paint. We're gonna put them all back together right now. As a final custom touch, we're gonna put a ton of LED lights up underneath this thing. After dark, this thing is gonna look like it's coming from outer space.
We're gonna run 24 LED rock lights. It's gonna be high, so everybody's gonna be able to look underneath this. So we don't need no wires hanging around. Just tuck them up clean, keep them on top of the frame rail. So anybody that looks right there, it doesn't look like any wires.
Oh, what we have right here is a factory forward front fender well. The middle ones are actually gonna be for the front wheel. You know, to cover the front wheel. The sides are gonna be for all the custom pieces that they fabricated.
We really wanna highlight all the chrome accents on the white, so it's just gonna make it pop right off.
Tom brought in his brand new F250 bone stock. He had to have something just stood out over the top. I definitely think we're gonna meet his ex. We built this truck for Tom as a billboard for his company and for play. So we're gonna meet him at the off-road park. This is where all the trucks, side-by-sides, and four-wheelers in Houston come. This truck's gonna stand above them all.
Come on, man.
Today is the day.
And it's a nice day, and we're at the mud park, man. Come on, man. I didn't build this just for show.
You wanted a huge lift, huge tires, big stereo.
I needed it to make a statement when I pulled up.
You want the flashiness. No doubt we fulfilled that for you.
Bill invited me out here to the Extreme Off-Road Park to see my truck for the first time. I'm expecting something crazy. It better not be too clean, too, because we're going to get him dirty.
Man, let's get Timmy, bring this thing in.
Damn! Oh, that was 28!
Yeah!
Come on, man.
28-inch wheels with a 42-inch tall tire.
Man, look at the lip on that thing, man.
Those are one of the first of these known.
You better buy stock and dish soap, so I'm gonna keep them dishes clean. And fun bags. When he came up and hit them bags, I was definitely excited. Timmy, look at this thing. Wow, man, this thing.
Like it?
I love it.
We started off building the whole suspension is 100% all handmade in shop.
I see that.
Man, Bill gave us a lot of...
Nothing like this out there.
I mean, the 4-link, the little drop down, huge 4-inch triple bypass shocks.
I'm about to have a bypass right now.
New bumper, color match grill.
I'm getting a little emotional right now. This thing looks so good.
There's another special in the bed for you. Said you wanted something you can listen to, hang out at a place like this?
I do.
We've mounted 4 marine-grade speakers in the bed. You can unbolt it out of the factory bolts right there, pull it out if you need to haul something big, and bolt it back in.
Man, I ain't gonna be pulling that thing out, man. That's gonna stay in there.
Show them the interior.
He did a good job on these door panels, keeping it consistent with the factory design.
Those factory?
Check out the back of this thing.
I can see all the way through that.
Yeah.
Look at those speakers in there.
The subs are in the console. You see all the floating amps.
I know it looks good. Let me hear it.
Check it out.
Let me hear it.
Everybody's gonna hear him coming.
That hurt your ears or what?
Man, still ringing, still ringing.
That's many hours of hard labor.
I can tell.
Everybody in the shop. You pitched in to really pull it through for you.
I see something here that I'm gonna have for a long time. I can't thank Bill and his team enough. Man, they do awesome work. Every one of them puts every bit of heart into this. I mean, it looks so good. I need to drive it though.
Let's check this.
Let's go.
Oh, we getting crazy!
I think he likes it, Tim.
Come on, man.
We're doing 58.
Is that for the 28, Tom?
That's for the 2.8.
daddy! I'm in the clouds.
Hell yeah. Look around, man. It's all eyes on you.
I'm so happy with this thing. It's awesome.
Met your standards?
Man, thank you. Met my standards, man. This is above my standards.
Glad you love it, man.